Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the FIOR YouTube channel. Okay, we are here with Max Lum, Senior Advisor on Communication and Resource Translation for the Office of the Director at the National Institute for Occupational Health and Safety. First of all, welcome and thank you for your attendance. I would like to ask you the first question. We go like this. What do you think that Wikipedia is the best way to deliver proper occupational safety and health information to all the population, or it is just targeted to younger workers?
I think, thanks very much for the opportunity to talk about Wikipedia. I think there's a lot of disagreement about Wikipedia, you know, because it's an open source encyclopedia. And I must say, when it first started, I wasn't enthusiastic about it because anyone can edit Wikipedia. But about 7 years ago, NIOSH began editing Wikipedia with our occupational safety and health information because, you know, we got into the social media aspects of delivering information, and Wikipedia seemed to be, you know, a way for us to put information into a good format. And particularly at that time, 7 years ago, there wasn't very much information on Wikipedia about occupational safety and health. There wasn't even a hierarchy of controls. That wasn't even, you know, the basics were not there. So we began with the basic information, putting up complete pages and also editing pages that were already up. But we've also, you know, developed pages just for occupational safety and health, like occupational epidemiology, occupational cancer, really the issues that really we're concerned with as professionals. It's not just for young people, because now we know, because of the editing, the way editing has gone on Wikipedia, that health professionals are editing Wikipedia, researchers are editing Wikipedia, and they're on there with information. There's a lot of controls. We can talk about those as we go through this, but basically, you know, anyone can edit Wikipedia. So you have to be careful about the information that you put there. But basically, you have to footnote the information so people can see where the information that you're providing is coming from. And if you're a recognized authority or a university, it's going to give credence to whatever you put on Wikipedia.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Max, for this complete answer. So what you are saying, it's like you figured it out that it's not just for young workers, since you have like this sort of analytics. Like for instance, here in YouTube, I got these analytics that it will let me know if the like the range of age, if there is a female or a male, the one who is like actually watching our videos. So in a sense, you have this same tool, and it's letting you know that it's not just like the young people who is actually editing or watching. There's like other people from other ages, right?
Yes. Now Wikipedia is a foundation. It's run by the Wikipedia Foundation, and in order to protect the privacy of people, they don't provide, you know, age information to us. You know, they have it in terms of their URLs, but they don't provide that information. They're very guarded with that. The reason I say it's not just for young people is because I look at who's editing Wikipedia and then where those resources are coming from. And also, this is to me extremely interesting, but in the summertime, NIOSH gets about, I guess, 15,000 hits a month from Wikipedia. It's our #1 driver to our website. #1 driver of information and people that are looking for information to our website. But in the summertime, we lose about 20% of the people that come on Wikipedia on the average. We're guessing, we're not sure, we're guessing those are students. You know, they're out for the summer. They're not looking at Wikipedia for research. They're not using it. So we know that it's a mix of people that are really using Wikipedia. But the people that are editing Wikipedia, particularly occupational safety and health, if you look at the resources page, you know, the resources that are part of the page at the bottom, you can see they come from universities, they come from research, you know, activities. And if you want to get a good feel for how detailed it can be, just look at the nanotechnology page or breast cancer. You know, I mean, it is quite good in terms of the resources.
I definitely will check that out.
Right.
Okay, like since you said that usually you get this historic of data, and you know that during summer 20% of the viewers get reduced, like you get less views, and you are like mixing this or thinking that it comes from those students that they are abroad and they are like traveling and doing these other things, so they don't have to do their homework or they don't need to research on those topics. How did affect this to this pandemic, this actual situation to the statistics? Like, are you getting more viewers than before? I guess it is the
Well,
way.
that's a really, Pablo, that's a really great question. And I want to, there's a good story here. There's not many good stories related to COVID-19, but this is a good story in that a lot of the universities got together and they did a COVID-19 Wikipedia page, okay, which explained what it was, the history, basically some preventive action. But when we, that is NIOSH, looked at the page, we realized that it was incomplete because it really didn't deal with work sites. You know, it didn't deal with the hazard of COVID-19 in the work site. So we created, I have a Wikipedian in resident, John Sadowski, who is an amazing guy who really knows how to do editing. He actually put this page together, and we, you know, the agency looked at it, and it really is a COVID for hazardous work. You know, it's hazardous workplace COVID-19. The last time I looked, the regular large COVID-19 sites has gotten over 5 million hits. Now, that means visits, basically. We don't know how long they stayed. We don't know what they did with the information. But, you know, that's pretty good exposure. I think 5 million across the globe looking at the site. And then our little page on hazardous workers and COVID-19 gets about 400 hits a day. So that's really more hits than we get, you know, in terms of NIOSH being asked information. You know, we can channel that information through Wikipedia. So I think that's a good example, you know, of why when we have these, you know, issues, and there's going to be more like this, why we shouldn't make sure that whatever issue we're dealing with is covered on Wikipedia, because you know you're going to get a lot of traffic.
That's absolutely amazing, because something like, I got this friend, right, and he's a writer. He's not the really good one, but he was super excited whenever he got over 1,000 cells.
Yes.
And then he thought about it, and he said like, well, but actually every time that you guys make a YouTube video or something like this, you're getting over 5,000 or something like this, because it requires an effort for people to actually go through a text and to read it and to edit and do all these things. So whenever you're seeing that you're getting over 400 hits a day, like it is a really impressive number, because it's not the same like to watch a video that actually to put the effort on reading something. So it is really impressive numbers, and wow.
Well, actually the story is even better than that, Pablo, because we are placing videos on Wikipedia. So we are actually tracking the information, and we're getting more hits than YouTube because, and it's pretty obvious, because when people are looking for information, the video is right there on the page. So obviously the people that come to the site can now look at the video, and those hits are more than YouTube hits. We have YouTube too, but when we put the video on Wikipedia, it gets more hits because it's organized by content. You know, it's not, you're not searching a search engine, you're actually going to Wikipedia for something, and then there's the video.
Wow. So you're searching for a particular article, and then you have the video related to this article. And I guess that everybody can also edit this video, right? So if I found out a better video that expressed the idea behind this article, I can propose or I can change it directly.
Right.
Right? And to upload another video.
You can, that is true, but it isn't easy. I must say that's one thing we've been talking to the foundation about. And that's why you don't see many videos on Wikipedia, because it isn't easy. It's an older system, but they're going to change that. And that's one of the reasons that we have a Wikipedian in residence, who's John Sadowski, is with us. He is someone who knows how to do this and, you know, can teach us. And that's what he's doing in our agency, is really teaching researchers how to edit Wikipedia.
So actually the videos that you are like putting inside of this article, they are not linked to YouTube. It's a different platform. It's just like the Wikipedia platform. Okay.
Right.
I didn't know about it. Like I had never seen actually like a video in Wikipedia. So right after we finish this interview, I'm gonna look it up because it sounds really interesting. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll get John to send you the World Trade Center because site that we developed, which we're researched, because it has several videos in it. But it isn't. I have to be honest. You know, when we went out to the foundation and said, look, you have to think about people putting videos. You have to make it a little bit easier. And they, you know, they're mathematicians. They're not, you know, communication people. So, but they're very helpful, because what they did was we asked them to do a metric so we would know how many people actually looked at the video, and they did that. So not only do we know how many people come on the page, but we also have an idea of whether they looked at the video. So, you know, that's this relationship that we have with the foundation that I think would, you know, would behoove all of us if we shared our occupational safety and health information on Wikipedia.
I got another question, like it just came up to my mind, and probably like you will not know, I don't know if you know the answer, but do you have a tracker of how much time does the people spend on Wikipedia articles? Like for instance, whenever we're doing a YouTube video or whatever it is, later on, I can go to the analytics and I can not just know how many people have been watching it, but for how long have they been watching it. So it gives me an idea if the topic is actually exciting for them or not, if they enjoy it or not.
That's a good question. We don't have that yet, that data yet. We're just glad that the foundation worked with us to give us the number of hits on the video. But the videos are only a minute. That's all. They can't be very long. They're only a minute or a minute and a half. They cannot be longer than that, because we know people will just tune out no matter how interested they are. We have a lot of data, and there's a lot of data in YouTube about the length of videos. So we try to keep it under a minute and a half, and that's not easy, but it really, you know, somebody can talk about their research in a minute and a half. It's not an easy thing to do necessarily, but we think people will probably stay on for the minute, but we don't have the data.
No, and actually, like if you are capable to do a summary in 1 minute, is that you really know what you are talking about.
Yeah, that's so, right. And in research, as you know, some of it is quite, you know, this isn't a person that's going to do the evening news. You know, this is a researcher talking about the depths of his research, but you know, it's on the page. It's on the page where you're trying to get information. So, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think we're going to do more videos, I think, the coming year. But again, it's something that we need to learn how to do it quicker and better.
Actually, like, as you said, like these 1 minute or 1 minute and a half videos, it sounds like a really smart idea for me, because if I'm interested in something and I go to Wikipedia, it's because I want to just like know about it. Like for instance, sometimes it happened to us, right? We will do an interview and we will be, in this case, I'm trying to focus as much as I can about Wikipedia and everything related to that. But sometimes we get excited and we can start talking about something else.
Right.
And for me as a student, if I'm going there, I just want to know about Wikipedia. I want to know how does it work, how can I edit, how like can I participate, I can be part or not, but I don't want to actually know about other topics that they are not related. So 1 minute and a half, I think it's a really smart idea for that. Absolutely. And so there was another question that we had. already prepared from before. And it's like, how can people choose between all this information that you're getting and try to distinguish between the fake ones and the real ones? And you said already about the universities, right? You can
Right.
know the source.
Yeah,
Do you have actually other tools?
I think Wikipedia offers, and this is where I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. Wikipedia in general, particularly for occupational safety and health, you can look at the resources for where the information is coming from. And I think it's very easy because you have to footnote your work. When you do a complete page, like we did for occupational epidemiology and occupational cancer, you do a complete page, then you have a big responsibility because you should be using other resources. You should be talking about, the Finnish Institute or the UK Institute. You should spread your resources out. You should not just talk about what we're doing at NIOSH. So when you look at the resources, you can see where the information is coming from. And I think that you can make a determination whether it's not coming from CBS News or CNN. It's coming from the University of Barcelona, and it's the research department. And here's the link that you can go look at the cited article. So I think that's the real strength, is that you can see, whereas, normally when you look at a Twitter site, you don't know where information is coming. You might get good information, and we use Twitter a lot, but you don't know whether it's coming unless there's a link. You don't. So in Wikipedia, you get a complete picture because it's not just the link from NIOSH, it's the link that we put together when we put the page together from other resources, because that's the way to do it.
I do have an extra question related to that. Let's say I'm NIOSH and I have this new page related to hazards or whatever it is, and I want on this same article to get sources from outside, from other universities, let's say from the UPC, Universidad Politécnica de Cataluña. I can write the link directly, or I have to ask permission to this university for them to?
Well, it depends what the rules are, but generally, if you're citing a published peer-reviewed journal article, generally, you're going to have, that's the easiest way to do it. The university has published, let's say in Spain, a article on nanotechnology, and you've been working on this, and it's peer-reviewed, and it's in the journal of whatever, and then therefore it's already peer-reviewed, it's already public information, and therefore you can cite that as a peer, and I think that's where NIOSH absolutely can't put anything that hasn't been peer-reviewed, because it violates our regulations. What I think about nanotechnology, that's not a good thing. Or even what I'm doing in nanotechnology. It's what I know and what I've published and what is in the peer review literature. That's the resource that you're getting at the bottom of the page. And that's why you have this little bit of a control there, because you have peer review. So
there's any sort of rating in Wikipedia? Like, for instance, whenever you're doing a YouTube, the sort of ranking that you get is like you get a like or you get a dislike. There's like some sort of similar way for me to interact with the website?
Yes, this is really kind of the fun. I don't know how much time we have, but when we started putting chemical information up on Wikipedia, we got a lot of people coming in, Germans mainly, who I think they maybe invented chemicals. I don't know, but we got a lot of people coming in and saying, what are you doing with chemicals? Who are you? And it comes in through the chat page. There's a chat, it's a talk page. In other words, at the top of Wikipedia, you can say it says talk. It's people asking you questions. Who are you? What are you doing? Where is this information coming from? Why don't you, why is it so incomplete? Why is it complete? They will come in, and that's why maybe people don't agree with me, but that's why I think Wikipedia is very social, because when you start editing it, you're going to find out other people will be coming and saying, well, you you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or there's no, or I don't understand this citation, it's missing a year or something like that. So in a way, it's another control. But I think we learned a lot by working with our fellow researchers in Germany, because they really had an interest in the chemicals that are on Wikipedia, and you know, they helped improve it. Together, we improved the site, no question about that.
Well, we don't have much time left. If
Right.
there is anything else that you like, it's been really interesting, and I could be talking with you for hours. But like, if there's anything else that you consider important to point out or to say over here, like that's
Well, I
yours,
think,
yours.
yeah, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I could also talk to you about Wikipedia for hours, but I think it was nice for our ORP conference in Spain that we had, you know, we had a limited number of people that could attend the workshop, which is what we're going to do. Yet we had people sign up within the first hour. We were full. So there's a lot of, you know, that's a lot of interest, and we want to bring that to Cartagena, or where, you know, whenever the conference is decided. If it's not decided at the current date, you know, we look forward to seeing everyone, and I urge them to sign up for that. But also to spread the word in their own institutes, their own organizations. We will do that at NIOSH, and make sure we have a good selection of folks at the conference, and also that will come to the workshop, frankly. And the one weakness I see in Wikipedia is that, you know, the second most popular site is in Spanish, okay? But there's very little Spanish information on the English site. There's very little French information. You know, we need to work better collaboratively, and then I think we can start that process in these ORP meetings. And we've had that, you know, we've begun to do that, but I think we need to do more collaborations together. So I would urge people to come to the meeting. Please stop by. If you have any question, I'm easy to find on, you know, on Google. You just have to type in my name and you'll get my email. But basically, we'd love to hear from you before then, but particularly at the Cartagena conference, whenever it's being held, and particularly in the time of these pandemics. I think, you know, we have to use Wikipedia a lot more, because it is a used source of information and can be quickly done. So again, I thank you for letting me talk for a little bit on Wikipedia, and I look forward to seeing everyone in Cartagena when it happens.
Thank you very much, Max. It was really nice to have you here. Thank you all.